It's crazy how folks felt only the bad episodes were getting full breakdowns, while the good ones were getting quick reviews. But when I give y'all the chance to vote, you choose one of the worst episodes in the season. But hey, you asked for it, so let's get started. Hey everyone, Kuro the Artist here, and welcome back to another Ben 10 breakdown. It's the same old at this point in Season 3, trying to bring back the classic fans by nixing story arcs in favor of one-off episodes, and reintroducing older characters for nostalgia. But every time they bring back an older character, they never quite feel the same. And aside from Vilgax, perhaps the biggest example of this would be the return of Tetrax. In Classic, his extremely limited appearances were always very memorable. The hoverboarding, smart and tactical, redemption-seeking ex-bounty hunter quickly became a fan favorite. But in Alien Force, he pretty much returns in name only. His design being slimmed down and simplified, he's lost all of his weapons, no hoverboard, no Gluto, he's noticeably much weaker and less creative with his abilities, and on top of all of that, he just doesn't feel like Tetrax. Tetrax was always a very nuanced character, but he still felt like a real person.
You said you needed this to get off the planet.
Selective disinformation.
Huh? He lied.
That was my favorite board.
Here, he's just another exposition mouthpiece with no real weight to the story.
Ben Tennyson, give me Chromastone!
He pretty much lost all the charm that made people like him in the first place. And after the same thing that happened to Charmcaster, Vilgax, and Zascare, I gotta say, it's getting pretty frustrating seeing these beloved characters stripped of all of their interesting quirks. This one does take an extra step by tying together some plot lines from classics, such as the destruction of Petropia, which is where we get the infamous Crystal Jesus episode, which turns out that Chromastone isn't actually a member of a species, but in fact a one-of-a-kind guardian of Diamond Head species, and his destiny is to resurrect the planet from mass genocide. You know, Ben 10 stuff. Oh, and Ben also gets sick this episode, but that ends up not really mattering. If this is your first breakdown and you're curious about how my rating system works, there's a detailed description down below, along with a link to all of my previous breakdowns, but by all means watch this one first, I'm sure you'll still enjoy it. Rapid fire update time. Don't forget to check out the quick reviews over on our second channel, The Rust Bucket, linked below, along with the video that explains why we're doing quick reviews in the first place. I've been streaming every Tuesday at 2 p.m. EST over on Twitch, playing through the Ben 10 games and also doing some art, so if that's something that interests you, don't forget to check that out as well. I'll also be doing a lot of events and festivals this year, and I've started another channel called Keepin' It Fizzy. Well, I'll have little vlogs and such about each event, mostly for myself to look back on, but also to give people a taste of what they missed out on if they weren't able to make it. And lastly, a word from our sponsor.
From today on, your name is Zero. The Germinal organization is your home and your motherland. You should be willing to do anything for it.
What would you do if you woke up one day and you got transported into a game that you love, and not only that, but you're a non-playable character sent back in time before the game release? Well, that is the story of the legendary mechanic, where our main character Han Zhao is thrown into that exact situation. And not to spoil anything about the story, but let's just say shit definitely gets real. And the best part about it is that you can enjoy the legendary mechanic on 2 different mediums, in comic form or in novel form. You can check that out and thousands more on the Web Novel app using your iOS or Android device. Web Novel is #1 in book sales in the United States on the App Store as well as the Play Store, with over 75 million downloads. Be sure to check out the legendary mechanic on the Web Novel app. Link in the description below.
Web novel comics, never so easy.
On January 29th, 2010, Rich Fogel's one and only episode, The Secret of Chromastone, had premiered. Tetrax returned seeking Chromastone after stealing back a crystal he originally sold to Vilgax that destroyed his planet Petropia. He needs Chromastone to resurrect his people and the planet, but Vilgax has come back to Earth hot on their trail. Meanwhile, Ben has been battling a cold, and, well, that's a thing. I hate when that happens. Looks like they animated a whole shot just to perspective warp it on the mirror. Even has the right motion.
That's how it's gonna be.
Alright, I am glad that we see Kevin's car can still do all the weapon things, but like against this guy, let it be known that Kevin's about to murder this man so that Ben can get a smoothie. I just want to put that out there, and he's totally serious about it too. Objectively, it's pretty funny, but like this is a bit too far.
Yeah, okay. No.
Here we see that the whole car is a CG model, but right here it's all done traditionally, but it is very seamless. I wish all the CG was as good as Kevin's car.
Off-road.
Man couldn't have just merged to the left. The road even allows you to do so. They're really docking Kevin's character right now.
I don't think I'm gonna make it.
There it is!
Although right here you can see when they try to blend together the traditionally animated interior with the CG exterior. The windshield wiper clips through the frame right here. Just kind of phases in. Also, it's another fake out intro. I feel like Ben 10's done a handful of these, but the only one that immediately comes to mind is the beginning of Big Fat Alien Wedding.
Don't think I can take this much longer.
Almost there.
One mango blueberry with extra echinacea stat.
What the heck is echinacea? It's a dietary supplement for the common cold and other infections. Mr. Smoothie sells just about everything. Also, this is our first and I think only time we see a Mr. Smoothie drive-thru.
It's just a common cold.
Oh man, use a tissue.
Really disgusting. Use a tissue.
Oh, I totally forgot she says that. This has happened a lot in season 3. I say something and then Gwen says it. I swear to God, if I was a Ben 10 character, I would be Gwen.
You're gonna get us all sick.
Ben would get them all sick regardless, just from being in the vicinity of him.
The smoothie is so you'll be able to choke down the real cure. It's bitter root.
Well, I mean, echinacea still does something for the cold, but what's bitterroot? According to organicfacts.net, it relieves pain, eliminates respiratory irritation, calms nerves, purifies the skin, detoxifies the body, regulates blood sugar, and settles upset stomachs.
They call it that because...
Come on, Ben, you'll drink a lamb and sardine smoothie, but you draw the line at bitterroot?
He says he can't. His lips are puckered shut.
That actually makes me want to try bitterroot. Wonder if I can find it on Amazon. Nope, it's just a bunch of books. I was deadass about to buy some too and like make a short on the Rust Bucket or something to try it. Maybe if Ash and I ever do that Mr. Smoothie video.
You can understand that?
She can also understand Wild Mutt.
We got company.
It's Tetrax's ship. I remember he used this in Secret of the Omnitrix, but did he use this in Destroy All Aliens? Why, yes he did. In fact, I'm pretty sure the one right here is the exact same CG model that they used in Secret of the Omnitrix. Just like how the CG Rust Bucket in Alien Force is just a modified version of the classic CG Rust Bucket. Hey, look at that. It appears in the reboot too. Guess it's just a very trustworthy ship. And there's the man himself. Relatively the same appearance as he did in Classic, just a little simplified as per Alien Force standard.
Tetrax, good to see.
Would have been nice to see him do the salute that he did in Soto.
Ben Tennyson, give me Chromastone.
Now, I originally thought they recast Tetrax, but they really did get Dave to come back to voice him. But something about either like the portrayal or whatever voice filters they used, he just doesn't sound like Tetrax. Although I feel like they always intended to bring back the original voice actors, and it just never works out for Alien Force. Like, I know they cast James instead of Steve for Vilgax because they couldn't get a hold of Stephen Bloom. And Azimuth's original voice actor does appear in Albedo's debut episode, but Azimuth is still voiced by Jeff Bennett, so hey, they landed Dave. Dun 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 dun.
Use the Omnitrix now.
Hey, wait.
Alright, so Tetrax knows how to use the Omnitrix, some random kids in the park knew how to use the Omnitrix. Ben knew how to use the recalibrated Omnitrix right off the bat, but Vilgax somehow couldn't? What the fuck, man? Also, all he does is just pull up the watch, and then it's already activated. He just twists, and the hourglass symbol is rotating with the dial. But hey, look at that. Chromastone's hologram is still there. Oh yeah, we get Diamond Head's transformation. I think this opening part is still just Chromastone's transformation. Well, would you look at that? They're actually two different animations. Well, right up until here, this is the same frames. And then it gets different. I don't know why they wouldn't just reuse the whole clip. In fact, upon further inspection, this is the same clip reused from the generic transformations. And they throw this flash in, and then it's new animation. Then we got another similar shot to Chromastone's, where Diamond Head grows crystals off of his back, but you do see his skeleton, whereas Chromastone is his full body. And there's also a slow pan. This shot is completely unique to Diamond Head. We see his skeleton turn completely to crystal. I think that's a neat touch. Although right here, this shot is also similar to Chromastone's transformation and implies they both have skulls, which I never really found made sense, but you know, we're so far into this nonsense of season 3, who really cares?
Diamond Head.
We've also seen Diamond Head's hologram too, so Ben has two different holograms that allows him to transform the Diamond Head.
You're not Chromastone.
Why does Tetrax know to call him Chromastone? Was gonna say, does this imply Diamond Head has a nose? But I guess according to this transformation, he does. Wow, look how tiny his arm is for this shot.
I sense Chromastone within you.
How? And also, how come Diamond Head's such a smaller build than Tetrax?
What are you doing?
I do like how his shadow gets smaller as he backs away though, to show the change in perspective.
I'm coming.
This shouldn't make any sense because we literally just watched a transformation showing the inside of Diamond Head is not chromastone. So was that whole sequence just a bunch of bullshit? Because we literally see an x-ray of Diamond Head when Ben transforms. I don't know, man. This coming apart animation is done pretty well though, so I admire this. And here's Sugalite. Notice the white eye instead of green.
Ben?
Not Ben.
His mouth didn't even move.
Not Ben.
I'm Ben.
How?
Like I ever understood how this works.
You know, making the characters not understand how things work doesn't excuse the fact that they're just writing a bunch of bullshit now. These lines just point out that they're aware of it and they just don't care.
Is it time?
Very nearly.
And now his crystals turn red. That's pretty neat.
Okay, that's pretty much all of you.
This scene is pretty funny, but again, like, this right here. Do I have to say it?
What are you gonna do with that?
Oh, you know, just disregard all continuity.
How does a silicate-based life form get a cold anyway?
I've never had one.
This actually does support Duncan's theory that all of Ben's aliens are still slightly made of Ben's DNA. That or Tetrax is just really good at not getting sick. If you look in the background though, the Resolute doesn't have its night colors anymore.
What do we do with Tetrax?
Let him go.
As if this little binding band can even hold Tetrax. If she really wanted to hold him, she should at least have him in a bubble. He's just allowing this.
Redeem myself
For helping Vilgax.
for betraying my people.
Flashback. Now this is a neat thing to see because originally you'd think that Vilgax's ship was redesigned for Alien Force, which is the one that we normally see. But this is classic Vilgax's ship right here, albeit with Alien Force colors and whatnot. So that means in universe, Vilgax really did get a second ship, and it's not just the same one but redesigned. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just traced over from a frame from the pilot episode though. This shot too, this also looks like it was traced. But like, I don't get why they feel the need to recolor it like all of this though. I can't help but feel like they do it out of some type of obligation that they feel they need to, but like, why don't they just make it look like how it used to? I don't understand. Although it is nice to see Vilgax in his old ship again, so you know, pros and cons.
Who sold Vilgax a sacred crystal with unlimited power?
You know, I'll give them this. It was smart of them to utilize the crystal shown in the flashback A Secret of the Omnitrix to make a connection between Chromastone and Diamond Head. They really lucked out with it being a red crystal in the original movie, so that was a smart move on their part. But again, why does Vilgax have to look like this? Like, this is really going the extra mile to just be different for no reason. Even Omniverse, which has the most different art style of them all, gave Vilgax a look that resembled his classic series counterpart when they did a flashback to it. I'm perplexed. I am glad that Petropia still looks like its classic self, though.
Destroy my home planet.
That's a very good explosion animation. This explosion right here, though, is a typical CG animation that I see them frequently use. I remember this being used in Pet Project. And a handful of other episodes as well. And this shot parallels in an opposite way what we saw in Secret of the Omnitrix. Here, Vilgax is the one showing emotion while Tetrax looks stoic, whereas before, Vilgax's ruthlessness didn't allow him to react, where Tetrax genuinely seemed broken at the loss of his people.
I discovered a chance for redemption.
3 suns. It's gotta be hot around there. I like how the rocks slowly float away, because they are indeed in space.
Neither Vilgax nor I understood the true nature of the crystal.
This right here seems to be a reference to the Vitruvian Man. Ah, shit.
Since the beginning of time, our people's memories and DNA have been encoded into the crystal's molecular lattice.
Whatever the fuck that means.
It's a backup drive for the whole planet?
And everyone who lived there.
Every episode, the Omnitrix becomes less and less special. Would this crystal get constantly updated the more children are born and the more the elders die off?
Who was created to be the guardian of the sacred crystal.
Created by who and what and how? Maybe I should just stop asking questions.
To regenerate Petropia and its people. The stars are coming into alignment even as we speak.
And you can see them here from Earth, right in their exact position. Petropia must not be that far away, at least by the usual standards of the other planets we've seen.
Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
Not a huge fan of the sound effects for the Petrosapien crystals in Alien Force.
Handle him.
This looks like they forgot to animate the hologram popping up. They even have a flash to indicate a hologram appearing there. Here, you know what? I can help you out, Ben. We'll bring way big into Photoshop and take out all of the color. Photo filter, a little more Alien Force green. Maybe even a glow. Throw them in Premiere. Fix that opacity. Properly aligned. Keep tracking its motion. Mask it here and right here. And here to give it a mask path animation, little bit of feathering, and voila!
Handle him.
Way big! Oh man!
All that for a wrong transformation.
Humongousaur's gonna...
I wish that Ben's aliens had unique attributes to their sickness, kind of like what the classic series did with side effects. Here they're all just very sneezy. Maybe Diamond Head's crystals would be a different color and much weaker, and Humongousaur would shrink instead of grow. I don't know. But you know, that would involve effort. Disgusting. Oh, jeez. Couldn't do that to Tetrax?
We can't beat him like this.
I mean, Diamond Head alone took on Vilgax, so Tetrax combined with the trio should definitely be able to take Vilgax right now. Or like, are we just gonna pretend that they can't for whatever reason? Ben can quick change, then why doesn't he just quick change back into way big like what he wanted originally? Yeah, Petropia and Earth must be like galactic neighbors. That's pretty cool looking though. The crystal sapient electricity, very dope looking.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a...
Do you think like Stinkfly, he would have said sting like a jet ray, or he would have said bee? Oh shit, Vilgax is flying right now. Not just flying, he's hovering, so as funny as the slingshot jokes were, he really can fly. You know, every time we see the Omnitrix blink to signal that Ben's running out of power, it looks very different.
Plenty more where?
Probably would have been better to use the bungee cube mana instead of this. Oh, no. No. Gross. Also, what the hell is this? Vilgax can change the direction of his lasers. He should have perfect aim.
Even with his super hearing, he can't pick us out over all the people talking in the desert.
Did Vilgax ever use super hearing before this episode? I can't remember at this point.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Mans must have super speed too.
Will this do? I can't hold him back.
Tetrax. Why do they still bother showing transformations for aliens if it's not a custom one anymore? Like, we're 3 seasons in and Echo still doesn't have his own transformation sequence. This is one of the times that Echo cloning himself with repeated animation bothers me, because this is not how perspective works at all. I understand a lot of the times they reuse the same Echo animation because like it's just easier, and that's fine. But this right here specifically does not look good.
Where is my crystal?
That Chromostone dude took it halfway across the galaxy.
Really?
The Resolute instantly switches from having its regular colors to its night colors, like not even 10 seconds later. Chromosome's doing his thing.
Petropia lives again.
It seems that he was only able to recreate the raw terrain of Petropia and not all of the buildings and such, which is a shame.
People will live again as well.
Chromostone.
Now this shouldn't even be a fight because Vilgax literally killed Chromostone on screen at the beginning of season 3. Bet you there's some bullshit struggle that's about to go down.
I beg of you.
Just hit him right now with your sword, Vilgax. Just do it. I do like how there's contact sparks happening with them sliding against the ground as they're both made of very hard rock-like material. Yeah, the Resolute CG is, let's just say, not as good as Kevin's car.
Petropia.
Also a shame that we don't see Gluto. They even made the interior of the ship pretty accurate to Secret of the Omnitrix. And they have D. Bradley Baker on staff, even if it's just for a quick cameo scene right here. Like, just bring back Gluto. And look at that, it's the red rims again, except this time they decided to recolor one of them.
Have mercy.
Mercy. Never heard of it.
That's the most Vilgax thing he said all season.
Yoink. No! Tracks.
What the fuck is that thing? Do you think Chromostone would be able to do this once Ben regains him?
All this for nothing. The crystal?
It's dead.
Then all is lost.
Nah, but can you imagine?
There is still time.
Sugalate's getting horny on main. What?
What are you supposed to do? I don't know.
Diamond Head does.
Does he though? Because if he did, he would be growing himself off a platform instead of crawling like this. You know, it's not like he has crystal kinesis or anything. This is all so unnecessary. Oh shit, actually look at this. It's very hard to see, but the background doesn't reach the edge. And Diamond Head's animation frame goes past where the background ends. Look at that, you can just barely catch it. Similar thing happened with Ben hitting the watch and secrets inside of the rust bucket. My dude, just make some stairs. So none of the Petrosapiens have the same hood as Diamond Head does. That seems to be unique to him. Or the chest spikes either. It's probably to be more in line with Tetrax's design. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really bothered by the fact that they all look the same. Crystal species like this just probably would. And even so, you could just say like all of the Petrosapiens were revived in Diamond Head's image or whatever. Make it all biblical and shit. Bet you all the animation budget went to above and beyond.
Everyone on the planet is alive again.
Everyone.
Sugilite Deadass had 2 fake out deaths within the span of 5 minutes.
Not Chromastone. He is still in your Omnitrix.
But Ben's not going to use him. So now that he's fulfilled his purpose, what do you think he's going to do? Is he going to lead the Petrosapiens or just kind of like vacation for the rest of his existence? Hell, he could join the Plumbers or something too, you know? Why waste the character?
As are all Crystal Sapiens.
That should have been Petrosapiens though.
We're never gonna hear the end of this, are we?
Ironically, you are, as this never gets brought up again. Oh, that's crazy. So this shot of the ship landing right here, all the way up to the door coming down, is completely reused from the beginning of the episode, except you don't see Tetrax exit. The only other difference is Kevin, Gwen, and Ben right here are removed from the ending shot. But also, Kevin's car shouldn't be here right now, especially with its doors intact.
You must be anxious to get back to your friends.
But first, I have a score to settle with Vilgax.
You know, if anything, I would excuse this whole episode if the tease that Tetrax is eventually going to have a showdown came to fruition, but it doesn't. But here we go, it's our 3rd time reusing the exact same shot of Vilgaxia.
I don't believe this.
I do like that ending though, you know, just a little comedic spite towards Vilgax. Now, because people voted for this, I'm not sure if it's because people genuinely like this episode or if they just wanted to see me hate on it, but either way, I'm still gonna treat it the same way as I treat any other episode. But that being said, this is gonna get a 1 for a plot. It just really feels like the writers don't give a shit anymore. And that sucks to say, especially coming off the heat of Above and Beyond. This definitely feels like it was written out of obligation for the whole classic series sentiment bullshit that they were trying to do. And while I do like the creative use of utilizing the crystal from Secret of the Omnitrix, as well as a subtle follow-up on Vengeance of Vilgax with the revelation that Sugilite is a unique alien in the Garden of Petropia, the rest of it is just... it's just a bunch of bunk. Unlike side effects, Ben being sick in this episode has nothing to do with anything, and by the end, he just kind of gets over it. And while I want to say the return of Tetrax was nice, he really doesn't feel like Tetrax in this episode, and he doesn't really do anything either. He just kind of follows them around and gives a little bit of explanation here and there, but doesn't have any significance in their combat, and is completely downgraded from his classic series capabilities. And if I'm gonna be a little nitpicky, he doesn't even use his hoverboard. What's Tetrax without a hoverboard? He was literally named after one for the longest time until he got a real name. Also the lack of Gluto too. And most importantly, it undoes a lot of Tetrax's character development by literally undoing all of his wrongs in the past. And from this point forward, it doesn't really matter because Tetrax is not a relevant character anymore, so it doesn't have any lasting impact. It just kind of sucks for fans of Tetrax. I would have at least like one more follow-up episode and like see like the repercussions of his actions. Like, do you think Planet Petropia is just gonna forgive him what he did? He literally caused the entire genocide of his people. Characterization, it gets a 2. Vilgax just gets worse and worse with every appearance. Vengeance of Vilgax and Ghost Town gave me a little bit of a taste of what this new UAF version of Vilgax is gonna be like, but both in Primus and here, he is just the definition of a bland cookie cutter villain. And while classic Vilgax was kind of like that, he was at least interesting. He was intimidating, he was powerful. Here, he's just nothing. Same with Tetrax, he's just nothing. Same with Sugilite, he's just nothing. And even Ben feels like he's just bullshitting his way throughout the whole episode too. Visuals, it's gonna get a 1. We've seen some fantastic, stellar animation in this season. And then we get episodes like this where characters can't even stay on model in between shots, with inconsistent power sets, devastatingly bland fights. In importance, this might strike you with confusion, but hear me out, it's only gonna get a 1. It feels like everything here should be important, but it's not. Tetrax is never seen again. Ben resurrecting Petropia never comes back up. And Ben re-unlocking Chromastone doesn't really matter, because at the beginning of Ultimate Alien, he just kind of uses him and it was like, oh, well, I guess I got this guy. And then he just moves on. Same with when he re-unlocked Forearms or when he re-unlocked Feedback. It doesn't matter. And entertaining, I'll give it a 3. Tetrax coming back does give it that edge, whether or not they butchered his character, and the idea of of reviving Petropia is interesting. Not to mention the paralleled flashback between here and Secret of the Omnitrix. That was pretty neat. But I wouldn't say it's positive entertainment. It's entertainment as in the more of like, oh wow, I want to see where this goes, rather than like being so invested and engaged. So that's gonna leave this episode off with an 8 out of 25. I gotta say, it's pretty disappointing. More concept versus execution failure. We're almost done season 3, so let's keep chugging along until we hit the finale. So I just got no final thoughts for this one. Everything that needed to be said was said. Although I do want to say that on the last 2 quick reviews, the wrong transformation counter was behind. I've been using 2 different Photoshop files for the breakdowns and the quick reviews, and my schedule has been very busy lately, so I haven't been as attentive as I would like to be, but they're at least always correct in my notes. So I always have the right information, it's just updating the graphics in the video that seems to be my problem. So that's completely on me, that's my bad. I will do my absolute best to try to make sure they are accurate from now on, because what's the point if they're not even right in the first place? But at least as of this video, they are all up to date and correct. Now for this week's poll, we're gonna keep things very simple. It's a yes or no question. Do you think Chromastone should have had his own home planet, or do you like that Chromastone was a unique transformation? Let me know what you think in the community tab when this video goes live. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and as always, keep it fizzy.